We darn near celebrated when the kid got back, didn't we? Zolf never thought he'd see a fellow Ura again. We become fast friends. Calamity has that effect on people. But there was more to be done. There was one last core to find. A scientific journal written in Zolf's native tongue. He learned so much from it. Too much. If only I'd known half the secrets of the Calamity were tucked away in that book, I'd have worked to translate it right away. Most of the Ura never got a taste of Caelondia's fine goods, unless they were born and raised in the city like Zia here. Sure, the world's all gone to pieces farther than the eye can see, but leave it to this gal to point out the amazing view. Girl tried to run away from home one time, but the marshals stopped that, didn't they? So many secrets in there and she can't even read it. Her father's own journal. Finders keepers. The marshals learned to pack those shells full of fire. A sip of lunkhead liqueur will toughen you up. Too bad it's like drinking a saddlebag. Kid's surprised when I tell him there's only one core left. I shouldn't have believed it either. Behold the Pantheon. We tracked the final core beyond the city to the wilds. The wild unknown. Place can eat a man alive. Place is so raw, even the Calamity couldn't cook it. Not all of it. Know what's better than having a slinger pistol in a fight? Having two. Savage things lurking at every turn. Good thing pin cushions can't see where they're shooting. Got the core, like they're building a bastion of their own. The welcoming committee scrambles to attention. Didn't expect the kid so soon. They shouldn't have let their guard down. The core's right there, itching to come home. Kid's faster than a slinger with those guns. Getting that core was one thing. Getting out's gonna be another. He digs his way out of the clearing, but the wilds won't let him go without a fight. Wallflowers survived the calamity. Toughened them up. Best take it real slow when pincushions are afoot. By now, kid's got more needles in him than a stab weed. Killing a Jawson's old outpost is all that's left of him. A handful of windbag shipments made it out this far. Kid's seen the last of him. Don't ever turn your back on a pincushion. Kid's roused up half the wilds by now. Jawson's boys left all kinds of stuff out here. Gets the feeling he's being watched. Not by me, by a lunkhead. And lunkheads ain't fond of two-legged animals. Hit him anywhere but the hindquarters and he only make him mad. Sees a smooth black stone coughed up by the calamity. Be seeing plenty more. Pineapple's about the only good thing out here. that he reclaimed this place. Leave it to the kid to make time for stomping swamp weeds. He's anxious to get back. After all, he's got the final core. His journey's over, right? Well, no. It ain't. Not by a long shot. Kid knows something's up when we ain't there to give a warm welcome. See, Zolf and I were just wrapping up a heated discussion. Zolf can barely muster the words. The calamity failed, he says, but I will not. And with that, Zolf leaves us here, alone. Zolf cursed the city, cursed the Bastion, cursed me, said he was going home. When Zolf got through reading that journal, he just snapped, started smashing up the monument till I tried to stop him. Zolf banged up the monument pretty bad. But there's a way to put it back together. The shards. We're gonna need all of them to nurse the Bastion back to health. Takes a lot of moving pieces to make a dependable sidearm. The city brought the shards to the wilds. Now the kid's gonna bring them back. You have to think fast to survive the wilds, and none thought faster than the slingers. They could shoot their pistols with the speed of a machine. They knew just when to start shooting and when to stop. Those pistols could spit out rounds just as quick as you could pull the trigger. pistolier. Well, even the slingers weren't quick enough to escape the calamity. After Zolf's little episode, Kid sets off in search of shards. First stop, Jawson Bog. You'll get lost in that bog, I told the kid, and I won't be able to guide you back. Well, I let him go. What else could I do? What could any of us do? Zolf put us in a real bind. Hurt the Bastion bad. But the shards can make it better. They're like smaller doses of the Core's medicine. Shame the only place to fill that prescription is out here in the wilds. This place is intoxicating. Don't know where he's gone. Might be gone for good for all I know. Wherever he is, somewhere I've never been, somewhere I never want to go. Welcome him with open arms. Kid pops him good. Better survivor. No ma'am. It's a lonesome ghost of a gas fella. What do you say to a kid who sees too much? I'm Zolf from Alura. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Now the kid sees something stranger still. Did anyone anybody else survive. Sure enough, he finds beggars, lunkheads, wallflowers, pincushions, vine apples, swamp weeds, ankle gators. Can't fall, no matter how hard he tries. Send him even farther into the wild unknown. Kid sets foot inside one of Ceylondia's famous watering holes. Security's just can't escape. He's a petty thief. Succeeds where the calamity failed. Would you look at what he did to poor old Ronnie the bartender? Proper story is supposed to start at the beginning. It's so simple with this one. Now here's a kid whose whole world's alright, snoozing there on a rock in the sky. He wakes up. I'm just fooling. He sees what's left of the rippling walls. Years of work undone in an instant. He sees what's left of Pith, the bull. The gods, they're all undone. He sees what's left of his lifelong friend. His friend, he's come undone too. He Thought we'd lost him, but he finally comes to. The shard ain't lost either. Not anymore. Now to find a ticket out of this hole. Bootlickers dig their nasty thorns into his heels. Ever heard of a lung blossom? It's bigger than the stories say. Scumbags sprung a leak. They say one whiff of lung blossom can make you lose your mind. Well, the kid prunes it down to size somehow. Mother only knows what happened in the bog. Kid never much cared to speak of it. A shard is like a poor man's core, but beggars can't be choosers. That's it. A few more shards like that, and we'll be back in business. A single shard can breathe new life into this place. The shard's got enough juice to spruce up any of these places. Just the occasion to crack open the distillery's private reserve. rise like hot pineapple chowder on a cold day. Brings back memories. He's made a right comfortable bed for all those bullets. Wasn't fixed, it was unbroken. The city tried to use the shards to stake out the wilds. So much for that plan. The slingers could plug you full of holes faster than you could say draw. Slingers like to edge each other out using customized pistols. Eventually, it all comes down to reflexes. That's the edge of the wilds, where Jawson and his boys disappeared. Rothless Lagoon, even the brushers stopped going there. Didn't like being eaten. Ankle gators used to roam the wilds, and they nested at Rothless Lagoon. Many a tale folks used to scare their children straight originated here. All kinds of beasts with don't know up from down, still lurking about. These beasts, they don't like company. Only the city's brushers knew their way around the lagoon. You can't get hasty in a place like this. Even the brushers learned to fear this place. They used to think that ankle gators were extinct. Well, they ain't. One of them's been living in the tall grass. They called her Queen Anne. The lagoon's got plenty of other dangers, of course. Turns out Queen Anne got a hold of a shard. Ankle gators love shiny things. Know what smells worse than an ankle gator's breath? The stinkweed. Ain't time for pecker hunting, but the kid can't resist. Can't fight Queen Anne without the proper tools. The brushers use their pikes to keep their distance around here. Now the kid can do the same. Sharp sticks make Queen Anne nervous, so she backs off a bit. Kid's got a mean throwing arm. Cushion's been living off the ankle gator scraps. Queen Anne can't fit down some of these narrow paths. Bad idea to walk in gator grass. Queenie leads the kid into some kind of twisted trap. One bad step in that tall grass and he's Queen Anne's lunch. He holds his ground. Seems the queen's running out of options. Still no sign of the shark. The closer you get to an ankle gator's lair, the thicker the tall grass grows. Kid's gotta make a run for it. That old gator's right on his tail. They say you can't hurt an ankle gator unless it's raining, and it ain't raining. Queenie must have scared a bunch of peckers out of hiding. Seems even stinkweeds know to stay away from the queen. Gators don't much care for their young. That's why there ain't many around. Now she's coming for him. She's got nowhere else to go. The shard's sitting in plain view. They say if you run across an ankle gator, you better keep running. She's starting to get annoyed. Rest in peace, Queen Anne. That was for the brushes. He's got it, and he's home free. Kid's done what needed to be done. Queen Anne's reign is over. We even got a crown jewel. That gator's a crazy gal, but so is the gal who promised to look after her. Oh, she's cute now. Just you wait. All that trouble for a single shard. But you know what? It was worth it. They said Queen Anne was just a folktale. Now there's living proof she ain't. The memorial may be finished, but our part is far from over. spitting image of Slinger Jawson with that pike and them pistols. To fix a brusher's pike, you just need a good length of knife bark. The next shard should be farther out there in the wilds. Know how Ceylandia became the richest city in the world? 2 words. Point Lemaine. If the wilds could ever be tamed, it was gonna happen right here. But now, the greatest outpost past the city line is nothing but a freak show. The army's triggers once had the place on lockdown. Kid might as well pick up where they left off. Blam! Just like my fighting days. A gun like that can even put the wilds in check. Point Lemaine seen better days for sure, but it ain't done. Place shudders in a fit. The grand rail of Point Lemaine, not only is it still there, it still works. Of course, it's no longer shipping hides and alloys and spices, but it can give the kid a lift. Just as long as he can stay clear of the trouble on the tracks. Kid don't want to miss this train. Grand rails all grown over with things of calamity chewed up and spat out. Things eager to take back their turf. Slip by. Lunkheads settled in like they owned the place. men on the rail. Takes fancy footwork on the rail, or with wallflowers, cough and fungus everywhere. Only one way to cure a cough like that. The place used to be closed off, but now it's split open like a rotten pineapple. Of course, the Grand Rail seen much more fighting in bygone times. Near on 50 years ago, first shots fired in the Ura-Selandian War. It was right here that Zolf's Ura forefathers decided to mix it up. Okay, so maybe we didn't get their sign-off on the whole Grand Rail thing. That was bad. The rail must have shook the Ura to the bone down in those dens of theirs. Well, the rail won't last much longer now that the kid took the shard. It's still got one good run in store. All the rotten wood there on the rails turned it into Swamp League Central. Ever tried dancing side to side while holding your breath? Choking on swamp weed? Heather's trying to prick you in the eye? Well, let me tell you, it ain't fun. He'll be picking swamp weed out of those boots for days. Turns out he's got company up at the rail station waiting for him. Just another wallflower pincushion, mind you. At first, he thinks it's Zolf. Turns out he's wrong. This is for you, says the man. Then wham! When the kid comes to, the man's long gone, but something else is there. The only words kid recognizes on that parchment are for Zia. Well, what's a kid to do? He took the shard, he took the hit, and he took that note. That note cuts straight to the heart of things, don't it? Finding gourmet ingredients ain't easy these days, but we'll take what we can get. The note says it plain. Zia, go east to learn the truth about the calamity and our people. I'll be waiting. Sincerely, Zolf. It ain't too late to unlock the potential of this place. Ain't saying much, but that's the greatest forge in all the city. Zolf's messenger was one of his people. Wonder just how many of them survived, and what exactly Zolf told him. parts are getting harder to find. No risk of Culford Cauldron ever erupting again, they used to say. Guess they were wrong. Not everything blew up in the calamity. Why Culford Cauldron here blew up way ahead of its time. The cauldron boiled over some 300 years ago. They say it filled the skies with ash and the lakes with molten rock. If you wanted to survive something like that, you had to learn to adapt. So in a way, the beasts of the wilds, they're all survivors too. Best to keep out of the cauldron. It takes a certain stubborn pride to keep on living in a place like this. As for us, we learned an awful lot from Culford Cauldron. That learning led to some interesting inventions. Raw power of the world fell right into our hands. Playing with the cauldron's fires became an addiction. Sure, we dusted off a good many secrets out here. But we discovered other things we're better off not knowing. The unforgiving scent of sulfurous dirt. The taste of air so hot it sticks to your lungs. Sorts of awful things crawling underfoot. You can cook those things, but you can't eat them. Find so much life in all that ash. Kept on sifting through the cauldron's secrets anyway. The more ash we swept aside, the more life we found. Place is inhospitable as they come. pressed on. After all, when we look down inside Culford Cauldron, look down through all the smoke and flames, we saw in there the heart of the world, the heart now laid bare by the calamity. We had to have it. As for the kid, he just has to get that shard out of there. Too bad taking that thing woke up every last stink eye from here to Johnson Bog. Kid's thinking he's got to trek all the way back around the cauldron. Luckily, the cauldron cooked up a little shortcut for him. Sure, it ain't the most convenient path. Biggest stink eye he's ever seen's waiting for him on the other side. Pops open on him like a pimple on a school day. And where there's one stink eye, there's always more. Cauldron's tenants all gather up to bid the kid a fond farewell. The kid don't shed any tears for him, though. With a good spyglass, you can still see the cauldron from the city. But all the fires died out. There's nothing left of it. It comes back looking like the inside of a chimney. We're all a little short on friends these days, so that's a welcome sight. The shard works like a charm. You can hear the monument's heartbeat again. They said the wild could never be tamed. If only they could see us now. An awful big lost and found under the circumstances. A still life of old unwanted keepsakes. The slingers, the wilds were their calling. Kid arrives just in time to sample Zia's famous cooking. It won't get cold around here with that thing around. He wolfs down too much too fast, and it all goes to his head. I've said a lot about the kid, but he ain't the only one wrapped up in all this. What's he thinking? Well, let me see if I got this straight. I only heard it once. Once there was a normal Ura girl, but she wasn't born in the Tassel terminals like the rest of her people. She was from Ceylondia. Her folks were orphaned in the war, taken in and raised inside the city, on condition they would never return to the terminus. Refugees who came into the city had to stay for life. It was a way to reduce the risk of city secrets leaking out. mama passed away from birth and complications, leaving the girl trapped inside that city with no one but her father. Father was sharper than a brusher's pike, so he got a job working for the city's mancers. His daughter barely saw him. Her father told her nothing of her Ura heritage. He told her nothing of the mancers. It's for your own good, he said. She took to studying the arts, learned more through music than history books, gained a knack for strings and songs. At first, she tried to be like other girls, but her classmates spread word that her father was an Ura trader, selling out the city. One young man stood up for her, or so he led her to believe. He knew much of her heritage, and she grew fond of him. Convinced her to take him to her family den to meet her father. Spoke of how he wanted to meet a man from the terminals. When the young man greeted her father in the Ura's native language, her father flew into a fit of rage and threw them out. The young man never told her that the Ura's native language is not to be used by foreigners. To do so is a terrible insult. was then that she decided to escape. The two of them could flee the city together and go to the Tassel terminals. They would hide inside a garbage bin until it got ingested by a scumbag, then let him slosh on out of the city for disposal. But the authorities were already there when that scumbag sidled up to the city walls.
Someday your bird is gonna fly. Gonna build that wall.
The young man had sent the authorities a tip. Told him her father was using her to sell secrets to the Tassel terminals.
Build that wall until it's done. But now you gotta wait. So build that wall and build it strong, 'cause
She and her father were arrested for treason, but her father got a deal. Returned to work for the Mansers, and she'd go free.
Dig my hole, you build a wall. I dig my hole, you build a wall. One day that wall is gonna fall. Gonna build that city.
Before they parted ways for the last time, her father whispered a desperate plea. Hurry home to the den and lock yourself in.
Someday those tears are gonna spill. So build that wall.
hole, and deep down underground inside that den, she found a journal written in her father's hand. The next day, the door to the den turned to ash. The girl came up for air, and she saw the calamity all around her. When the kid wakes up, his world's still in pieces, just the way he left it. That ought to give those dueling pistols a little extra kick. A solid frame can put an extra sting in every slice. Want to stay alive in the wilds? Pack a pair of pistols and a good blade. We spotted a pecker carrying a shard to Mount Zan. Always time for juice and squirts, they used to say. At least the little fellas can't feel a thing. Some squirts tried to flee on instinct.
Yep.